to cover today. So thank you for this opportunity. So hello, humans. So I'm pleased to share the highlights of my recent United Nations experience with my colleagues here at the League of Women Voters of Kansas. I served as one of 20 delegates from the League of Women Voters US. I applied for that position and served in the 70th Annual Commission on the Status of Women. So this has been an unbroken tradition since Eleanor Roosevelt for 70 years. And this is the largest conference in the world focused on gender equality. So I want to give you the scope of this conference. There were 650 in-person and virtual sessions to choose from. Imagine making those choices. And they were all just very relevant. So some of the sessions were inside the United Nations, some outside. So what I want you to know is that if you want to go to New York City sometime, mid-March and attend the outside conferences, you can. You just have to go on and register your name. So it was very accessible. And I felt like the outside sessions with the grassroots organizations were as interesting and helpful as the ones inside the United Nations. So I really saw this 2-week experience as a masterclass in feminist advocacy. And the theme was very ambitious, but so were the women. So here's the theme: ensuring and strengthening access to justice for all women and girls, promoting inclusive and equitable legal systems, eliminating discrimination, laws, policies, and practices, an inclusive, equitable legal system, and addressing structural barriers. That about covers it. So one delegate from Africa captured the spirit of the gathering when she greeted her audience. Hello, humans. So 4 sessions, and I attended many, resonated with me, and I wanted to share them with you. So I attended a session called Women Around the Table, and this was inside the UN. And these conference rooms were just beautiful. A lot of wood, what you'd imagine. It's very, very ornate. So here we have delegates from Poland and the Ukraine, and that they showed such courage and solidarity with Poland's treatment of Ukrainian refugees crossing the border during wartime. We've probably heard about that on the news. But what I did not know is that both Poland and Ukraine are very committed to gender equality, even in wartime. They care about where they rank on the Global Equality Index. They knew. They have plans to recruit 600 women from the Ukraine to participate in the peace process, which they are anticipating when this war with Russia is over. They are forward thinkers. They are beyond survivors. And it was extremely touching. That's one. Another.
Colette, that's real hopeful.
Yes,
Very hopeful.
It was beautiful, truly. And then there were 5 female ministers from Nordic countries. And they said they are having to defend their well-established family-friendly policies. You may have heard about a year leave for men and women after the birth of a child or in addition to their family. It strengthens all families. However, the manosphere is just as evident in those countries as it is here. So they are receiving pushback to these policies that have actually made their countries prosperous and cohesive. So even with countries like the Nordic countries who have made great gains since World War II, they're having to defend those positions, and they are. Taiwan was another country that I enjoyed hearing from. They are unapologetic supporters of the LGBTI community and their rights, and they have some extremely innovative gender inclusive laws that they have worked on for decades that I believe are worth replicating. So the UN Secretary General is from Portugal, and his name is Antonio Guterres. He gave a very inspiring speech in this beautiful space, and he acknowledged that there is fierce global pushback to gender equality. But he said, we are seeing the swan song of the patriarchy. Gender equality is irreversible. It did my heart good to hear those words. And to have a global leader lean in to DEI. They call Mr. Gutierrez the feminist in chief. He is well loved. And his term ends this year, and there was a lot of buzz about electing the first female Secretary General of the United Nations in the history of the organization. And he said he looks forward to greeting Madam Secretary General.
Nice.
So finally, I want to give you a sneak peek at an issue that our Johnson County chapter may take up. It's called CEDAW, C-E-D-A-W. I see a few heads.
Seen that, yeah.
Is anyone familiar with CEDAW? It stands for the Convention to End All Discrimination Against Women. So CEDAW, CEDAW, is the only global treaty on the rights of women. Now, it was ratified back in 1981, and but the United States is one of only 6 nations that have not signed this treaty for women. That's the bad news.
Yeah.
Here's the good news. When the Equal Rights Amendment in our country was, failed, leaders saw this global treaty as an opportunity to secure those equal rights in a different way. And this has been going on for many years. So this, it was a workaround. I mean, truly for gender equality. So CEDAW has been successfully localized by US cities and states and as a legal baseline to hold governments accountable for the rights of women and girls. Los Angeles County won an award this year. They've been working on their CEDAW legislation and ordinances and programs for 8 years. And they are really leading the pack. San Francisco also, Chicago, many cities up north. So I wondered, what about Missouri and Kansas? So there was one city that has a resolution that adopts some of the principles of this treaty in their community, and it is Kansas City, Missouri. In 2014,
Wow.
a long time ago. So after I'm complete, I will put out a packet in the back, a couple of them. So if you want to see the copy of that resolution, a brief description of what this treaty does, it'll be out in the back. And it is, again, an issue that the Johnson County League hopes to put women's equality back on the agenda. And I hope you all will join us in this effort. So in closing, I want to share these words of wisdom from delegates from Ukraine. They said, do not be indifferent, be transformative, and lean on each other. Thank you.
Nice.
We have time.
Use the mic.
Oh,
Use the mic.
Okay.
Thank
Sorry.
you. I'd love questions if we do have time.
You,
so.
you have to repeat it on.
Let's see, I think. Sorry, I was hoping she could tell us where the US ranks on that equality
Yeah.
scale, and also what were the reasons that US gave for not signing the treaty?
Okay, where does the United States rank on the equality scale? I will do some research on that. But I saw a visual chart that was similar to that. And we were about 2/3 of the way down. So we're not leading the pack in terms of gender equality and haven't for quite a long time. So I wish I could be more specific. The reason we haven't signed the treaty is a mystery because we may have had administrations who had that opportunity, but did not take it. So I don't know why not. One quick note I'd like to add, if you flip through this little packet in the back, on the very back page is a letter. It's an open letter from NGOs from Europe and Canada that says the United States was obstructionist at this year's conference in a way that they have not been before, and actually was the only country to vote against the agreed upon conclusions of this conference. So it was a pretty serious issue that the delegates had to negotiate through, but they did prevail to maintain these agreed upon conclusions that had been in place for probably 3 decades. So that's where we are, but a lot of hard work is going on the ground, and I was very, very proud to be part of that process and incredibly inspired. Yeah.
Or you can just repeat the
I
question.
will. Okay.
Just say it loud.
I'll repeat it for you.
Are you aware of which other organizations in the United States were at this council besides the League of Women Voters?
There's hundreds and hundreds of organizations that attend. So when I scrolled on through, there were many from the United States, but there were too many to really name. But the League of Women Voters has been accredited since 1995 to be a full member of this. And that has been, an honor for the organization. And I will say another quick thing if I have time.
You do.
Okay.
You do. You're
Very
okay.
All right. So the League of Women Voters US sponsors a program every year. And this year it was a very heavy, I thought, hard-hitting program. And it was about international corruption. And if you're interested in that, there's a link, I believe, on the League of Women Voters US page. And they had lawyers who have prosecuted kleptocrats, those who steal from the public coffers for their own good, and usually send it abroad to some kind of shadow account. So there is a very strong movement to establish what's called the International Criminal Corruption Court, ICCC. It does not yet exist, but there's a real groundswell to stop those funds from many countries from being taken away from their citizens and hurting the folks in those countries in a consistent and systematic way for a very long time. So the League cooperated with several other organizations to expose this corruption that's happening across the globe. As I said, they're not taking on small issues. I mean, they're really going for the big structural changes that would make a difference.
We have time for one more question if there is one.
How
Yes.
did you apply?
Yes, if you watch your league newsletter from the US, the National League newsletter, it was a small paragraph buried in the issue. It was either December or January, and I just happened to see it. And the application is 1 page long, so it's not difficult. And I was just thrilled to be accepted. And as I said, there are 20 people who do attend through the League of Women Voters US. So there's a good chance you could attend as well. I hope so.
So you were at Washington, DC,
I was at New York City.
New York,
At the UN headquarters in New York City,
New York.
right there on the East River. And it was beautiful.
How did the league prepare you for participating?
The league prepared us to participate by gathering all the delegates on 2 Zoom calls. Several of them had been there before, so they were helpful in telling us how to get around and what to expect when we got there. And of course, they couldn't prepare you for just the glorious kaleidoscope of people that you met. I mean, that was the part that was just so wonderful. but I really felt like they did a nice job. And I had to prepare a post report, and that could take any form that I saw fit. So I'm going to be presenting to our Johnson County League a 30-minute program on May 2nd to go through a lot more of the details.
Cool. I was gonna say, I think Jackie Lightcap
Yeah.
did this
She
several
was.
years ago.
Oh, really?
She was
From
our
where?
past President.
It's used to be TP.
Topeka. Oh, we'll have to get together.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet her.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for your attention. Appreciate it.
Thank you.